So here we are, Tom. How you doing, mate? You all right?
All good. Thank you very much. How are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah. So we're on episode 5 today.
Good God, it's flown.
I know it has. So we're obviously recording today. We're doing a little batch of 4 episodes. The first batch of 4 episodes. The second episode's just come out yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been quite good, actually.
I've really enjoyed it. How did you feel about it when the first episode came out?
I get really nervous about stuff like this, like, because it's not in my comfort zone at all. Like, and a few people I've said that to. They've said, "Oh, you looked fine.
Yeah,
like you looked really relaxed. Everything was good." But yeah, I found it difficult. And then the episode came out, and it was just that nervous energy. Like, I wrote a LinkedIn post on the Friday before the first episode came out and put it on LinkedIn, and that was kind of like effectively coming out with the podcast, saying like, because I'd mentioned it to a few close people, but I mentioned it to family and stuff, and like yourself, obviously, because you've got to be here.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
We need to sign that contract.
Oh God, yeah. Let's put another 0 or 2 on the end of it.
Oh no. Take zeros off. No, I think it was really good to see episode 1 go out. We got a lot of people that kind of jumped on, people we know. They listened to it. There was quite a lot of comments. I mean, Morgan, was it like 25 comments or something like that? I think there was quite a few.
we definitely got a lot of traction on the comments. I think around 25 or maybe 28.
Yeah, I think for me, like, it's just really interesting because we've got no idea of like what's going to happen with the podcast.
No.
Like, I was having a chat with my mum last night, actually, before filming today's episodes, and I was like, we've got she said, how many people have watched it? And I said, right, well, there's been a few hundred views on the first episode, which we were like, I was over the moon about.
Yeah.
Like, if we'd had 5 people view it, I would have been happy.
Yeah, exactly.
My thing, I just said to Morgan before we started recording, like, it's on. We need to measure the success of this when we do episode 100.
Yeah, definitely.
Not episode 1.
Yeah.
Or episode 2. It's like, because we're learning how to do it. Do you know what I mean?
All start somewhere.
But my mum was like, good chat with her last night, and because I was a bit nervous, and she was like, so a few people watched it. She was like, so how many people are like following it now? And I was like, 70. And she was like, 70,000.
I was like, really? Yeah, thanks,
take
Mum.
me down a few pegs more. I was like, right, let's just backstep a little bit.
Yeah.
To get 70,000 people subscribed would be insane. It's not happening for a very, very long time.
Yeah. That's the belief from your mother there.
Yeah,
isn't it?
maybe,
70,000, mate. Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So that was quite interesting. And like family have listened to it, and like Amy has listened to it as well.
Good.
She thought it was good. I think some people like that I've come into contact with, like my mum last night was saying why are you doing it? And I was like, yeah, I don't really know.
Test myself.
Yeah, I just think we're doing something different.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's quite enjoyable.
Yeah, it is.
Like, we're both really busy people as well. Mm-hmm. And it's time that we get to spend with each other. Like driving over them, we've chatted about a few things in the business and the businesses, and it's been good just to touch base because, yeah, it's good. I think we'll see what happens with the podcast. Do you know what I mean?
So it flows.
So how's your last few weeks been? You've been busy with what's going on, and
yeah, a lot of things changing. I mean, obviously coming out the back of January into February, changing. Sales patterns for us. February's always a quieter month, just off the back of busy Christmas. People. It's probably generally if people got the disposable income to spend. I think January is a tight month as you get into February, and it's seasonless as well. So we've just been dealing with that and a few other things internally, but nothing we can't handle.
It's interesting to start the year because our second episode, I've listened to it. I think you're about halfway through
at the moment,
because we're filming this on a Tuesday, and the episode came out yesterday, Monday, which is the busiest day of the week for both of us.
Yeah.
So so Tom hasn't fully listened to it yet, but I think it's all about Q1.
Yeah.
And listening back to it, I found it really good.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of like, okay, yeah. So I've been talking about that stuff. Well, we've kind of pivoted slightly on that idea. Like, I know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. So it's like, because we don't obviously go into massive detail about the business, but it's just interesting to reflect back on that time. And I think what's going to be really good is like in a year's time.
Yeah.
This time next year, going back and listening to the first couple of episodes and going, right, how did that perform and like what came out of that. Oh, like that's interesting. We were talking about the hiring of, say, Danny and stuff like that in 2024.
Yeah,
talking about at the start of 2025. We're now in 2026. What did we implement this year?
Yeah,
like it's quite an exciting period, that first 3 months of the year.
Yeah.
So like there's a bit of a delay on the episodes coming out. So I think this episode will come out like third week of Feb, I think. Yeah, third week of March, sorry.
Okay.
Because we're at the end of Feb now. We filmed late January the first 4 episodes, and then we're kind of dripping it out. But yeah, no, things are good with us. I as well, like, I've done quite a lot of reflecting on like the structure and how we're going to do things. So I've done a bit more prep, but I don't want us to like over prepare for it, because I want these episodes to kind of be natural.
Yeah, let it flow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, it's good that we've had a couple of episodes go live.
A few episodes under the belt. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, is it? Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, we had quite a few people comment as well, which was really nice. There was like a lot of people that kind of gave support and positive feedback, and then I had quite a few people message me after episode 1 and say, "Oh, Matt, I think it's amazing that you've done that." And yeah, some people kind of said like, "Oh, I really enjoyed it. I found it very useful. Like, things have been tough the last year for me. I haven't really spoken to anyone." I had a couple of people really opened up on WhatsApp, and I was like, "That's interesting, because I think business is really lonely."
Absolutely is, isn't it? And putting out what you're putting out here now, helping you with it as well. Yeah. It shows that you're not alone, are you?
No.
In this anyone running a business, whether you've got a partner or not. Yeah. Still face those same challenges, and it's nice that they've opened up and reached out to you. Yeah,
there was a couple of really kind messages, and I think, and then a couple of guys. So I had like, so one of our, it's Black Lab Digital. They do our SEO and bits and pieces. Mm-hmm. Good guys. James, the MD there, he's messaged me with a few questions, which I'll run through in a sec with you.
Yeah.
So like, if there is anyone watching and you've got any questions about kind of like why are me and Tom doing this, or if there's like thoughts on things you'd like us to cover and topics, do like comment or send us messages on LinkedIn or what have you, because we're happy to like pivot and tweak things as well, because it's kind of, we want it to be a bit of a community. It's not necessarily just about what we want to talk about, it's what maybe people want to talk about. So James came with a few points that we'll touch on at the start now as well. But today's episode, it's episode 5 of British Business with Matt Holland, co-host Tom Mcilvenny.
Very close again.
What is the correct pronunciation of your surname?
Mcilvenny.
Mcilvenny.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
99% of people don't get it right, so do not feel bad.
There's no A in it.
No, there's not. But it sounds like it's there. Yeah. Mcilvenny.
I'm useless. So obviously you're here again today, because a few people asked, like, what's your plan? Are you going to have people on as guests and stuff like that? So I think it's worth so the plan is that me and Tom are going to sit, we're just going to be relaxed, chat about bits and pieces, and then go and touch on topics. And the first, like, probably 20, 30 episodes, we're just going to pick a topic and talk about it. So today's episode, we're going to talk about people. And one of the things that Morgan picked up on was that it's good to start the episode with knowing what you're going to talk about, and almost have the title kind of pre-written, because then we can reference back to it, and it'll help ensure we stay on topic as well.
Yeah, all about people.
So it's people, the hardest and most important part of business, and the title on YouTube might be slightly differently, but for us, that's what we're going to be talking about and focusing on. So, I mean, we'll get straight into it. We'll just run through some of the points that James has mentioned. James Starkey from Black Lab. So he's asking these questions in reference to, I think, episode 2, or episode 1. When did he? Yeah, episode 2. These are in reference to. So people will have listened to that as well. So he's talking about failing fast is a term that's thrown about. How do you approach experiments and ideas to draw learnings and decide whether to carry on or not? Which I think is a really interesting question. He's asked a few, we might not cover them all, but this kind of concept whereby you effectively, it goes back to that Jeff Bezos thing that I'm obsessed with him at the moment, because I think he's not really stepped too too heavily into like the forefront of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But he's done more podcasts recently, and it's talking about that one-way, two-way door.
Okay, yeah.
So this idea, what James is kind of like touching on there, is the concept of kind of like failing fast, but then experimenting. Mm-hmm. It's like when you try something in your business, like, because we're quite small businesses, really.
Yeah, in the grand
like,
scheme of things,
we don't like big companies like £100 million turnover businesses and all the rest of it, like 9-figure businesses. They'll like put a system plan. They'll have like documents of like when you're testing stuff. I think we're still in that. Well, we definitely are where we go. Oh, this is a good idea. Let's give it a go.
Yeah.
To answer James's question, I think we blag it.
Yeah, no, I think we do. It's all about for us. It's like test and repeat. Try something, because we are a small business. You know, as you said, in the grand scheme of things, we're not some big corporate company with layers upon layers of management, and you've got to get sign off from all the other stakeholders within the business. For my business with my brother James, and you and your family business, it's get enough support from the shareholders. Try it. Does it work? If it does, go again, go harder. Yeah. Maybe adapt on that. Try something slightly different. But then, equally, if it doesn't work, we're small enough to pivot and go, right, didn't work, put it to bed, try the next thing.
I think, depending on the type of business you're in, the most important thing with like trying something and testing it is listening. Yeah. Listening to feedback internally. Mm-hmm. Listening to the tone of voice that's voicing the feedback. Yeah. The person providing the feedback. So if you're a B2B business, you're dealing with other businesses, you need to really carefully consider, because it's likely those customers are bigger proportions of your revenue. Yeah, definitely. So I think stakeholder management when you're testing and trialing anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, even if it's like, right, you're implementing like a new HR system in your business where, right, we're moving from paper clocking in and clocking out cards to digital ones. Yeah. Like, well, your stakeholder and the testing and trialing of that new system, you've got to listen to the feedback from your staff or what have you. And sometimes people just don't like change.
No, they don't.
So,
hate
like,
it.
I actually think like we could talk about change and embracing change in business, and that'd be a really good episode for the future. But to go back to James's question, I think when you're trying something different and tweaking the recipe, it's really important to listen and take in those stakeholders, but then also go with your gut.
Yeah, go with your instinct.
And like, if you do believe something's like worthwhile persevering with, just keep going with it. Like, I think sometimes entrepreneurs, they can get a bit too sensitive with what people think, and I think leadership, like, you're not there to be liked.
No.
Ultimately,
no.
Like, you want to gain people's respect, but you're not there to be. It's not a popularity contest.
No.
So when you're testing and trying new things, I think you've got to think about all those bits and pieces.
And ultimately, what's best for the business as well.
Yeah.
What gives the best desired outcome for the business, and roll with that. Like you say. Yeah. You're not there to be liked by anybody, really.
I think with that as well, like there's other things you could talk about, like testing from like and this might be where James is coming from like an e-com perspective. Like if you're trialing like a new way of doing things from an SEO or pay-per-click perspective, then it's all very analytical at that stage.
Yeah, the data is there.
Data driven. Yeah. And then you've got other types of marketing where it's feel good and it's a little bit more difficult to measure. Yeah. And what have you. He's also asked about culture, which we'll actually touch on in today's episode.
With people,
so we'll skip that question. There's loads of emerging tech. What are you doing to integrate it into your business, e.g. AI to speed up tasks? Yeah. Which I thought was great. We were actually talking about it this morning.
Yes, we were.
And like my planning and notes for the podcast, I've used ChatGPT quite thoroughly. So the first episode we did, I did all my prep organically. Mm-hmm. So I just did it myself, free-handed it. And then we... and then we did that for the first 4 episodes.
Yes.
For episode 5, what I did with ChatGPT was I downloaded the transcript from YouTube for each video, because it produced a transcript. Saved that as a file. Yeah. A PDF. Uploaded it into ChatGPT. Yeah. And said, this is the podcast that me and Tom are running. I'm on the ChatGPT Premium. I use it a lot for work now. Okay. Like, massively. But just in the context of this podcast, I then... because it's all about how you prompt chat GPT and give it feedback, and then it responds to the feedback. So I was like, right, we're going to be doing 4 or 5 more episodes on the next filming day. These are the topics roughly that I want to talk about. These are the transcripts from the first 4 videos.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually you'll be able to stick a YouTube URL in.
Yeah, just read it.
And it'll do that automatically. It might even be able to do that now, I don't know, because I'm still learning with it. And then it came back and it was like, right, okay, here's this. And I was like, could you write me a bit of a prompt guide and some interesting questions based off the context of how me and Tom work, like communicated,
how we interacted,
and can you tweak it so it's in our tone of voice?
Unbelievable.
And honestly, the notes that it spat out, the first time it wasn't quite right, so then I asked it a few questions and tweaked it. But if I'd sat down for 2 hours or 3 hours for this episode and tried to work out the questions, I mean, it's me, so it's not going to be
could have been any questions.
It's pretty average anyway. But it's created something, I think, that's really methodical in its approach.
Yeah.
So to go back to James's question, like AI,
well, it's huge.
I mean, how? So he's saying there's loads of emerging tech. What are you doing to integrate it into your business, e.g. AI to speed up tasks? I mean, I don't want to comment too specifically because we might have competitors listening.
Oh, yeah.
But I think for people in business, like, I think you've just got to play with it.
Yeah,
test it. Fun.
Going back to the first thing.
Yeah, I use an app now for my emails called Superhuman.
Okay.
Which is an AI-driven app. I've moved away from Outlook. We use 365 for everything, but check out, it's called Superhuman AI. It's an email app, and I've been testing it for probably about 2 or 3 months. But it uses AI and it uses keyboard shortcuts,
right?
So when you want to you basically don't have to touch your mouse.
Okay.
So it's just keyboard. So you Control K.
Yeah.
Sorry, tap the mic then. Control K, and then it'll give you some shortcuts, and you can reply, and you can get it to remind you. So if there's an email that you don't want to reply to there and then because it's right, I need to sit down and think about this, you can then get it to leave your mailbox and then automatically come back in at a specified date and time.
Right.
It's I've got a speed awareness course that I'm doing on
Thursday. Kept that one quiet, didn't
you? Yeah. Speeding to here, no, it wasn't. It was. I think it was an average speed check on at Christmas.
Oh dear, mate.
I won't swear, but yeah, I love North Wales Police.
Right. Okay, was it down?
Yeah. Is it Riel Hill?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah, the average speed they just got me there. I was doing, I think, 74 or something. It's
I mean, come on.
But anyway, on the email, the email came in this yesterday for the link to the speed up because I'm doing it virtually.
Can AI do that one for you?
So what I did was I just pressed Control K, remind, and then just typed in Thursday.
Yeah.
And it'll just come back into my mailbox at 8 a.m.
God.
But it declutters it.
Yeah.
But you can look at your business and there's loads of tech. I was looking at, obviously we're partnered with Tough Stuff.
Yes.
Castle Clothing are the brand. We do their direct-to-consumer website for them and handle all the orders and customer service. So we work quite closely with those guys. But they've got an ambassador that they work with, and he's obviously done a paid sponsorship, or a promotion deal with this app. So builders, you've got Checker Tradie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's basically this app that you have it on an iPad or a phone, and it handles all of the communication with your clients, your customers. You just pay a subscription to it. You do all your quotes through it.
Right.
And I think just technology in every industry now, it's incredible. And his video is basically saying, I've got my notepad, I've got my quoting pad, I've got my schedule, my diary, and then he was slid it all off and put the pad down, and he was talking about this app, and I was like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Technology in business these days. And I'd imagine if you're a pub landlord, there's different software and stuff. So I think, James, it's a fair question, but I think AI is the biggest thing that I'm trying to get used to.
Yeah, the biggest
do you use AI much?
We don't. I mean, off the back of the conversation we had this morning on the way down here to the podcast, I was like, God, yeah, we need to be utilising this way more in our business to make it ultimately more efficient, so we can scale without having to take on any extra resource in terms of labour. It was interesting actually yesterday. was having a chat with my brother. He just come out of a meeting with a clothing brand, a plus size clothing brand.
Yeah.
And he'd said to the sales manager there about these images. We need some product images. And he went, "Oh, no problem. I'll be able to sort that in like 10 minutes," whilst in the meeting. And he basically, using AI, as we're talking about now, got a flat shot of this plus size T-shirt, just lay flat shot on the floor, and put it into AI, asked it to put it on a model in a particular environment for lifestyle shot. 2 minutes later, boom, there we go, picture done. And it looks like it was taken real life, image there, someone walking down the street in this plus size T-shirt. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's going to be really... We should do an episode on AI, I think, so we'll leave it there. But I thought James's questions, he's obviously put a lot of thought into it. I'll just see if there's anything else. What do you see as the main challenge to wider businesses in the UK at the moment?
Oh, well, yeah. Where do you want to start with that one? That's an open question.
Rachel Thieves?
Yeah. Let's start with Rachel Thieves.
She's going to get sacked soon.
Oh, God. If you look at LinkedIn, the amount of posts I'm seeing, I am probably getting fed that with the algorithm because I've interacted with the posts. But, I mean, like 99% of these people aren't wrong what they're saying.
I think we need to pay into the system and everything, but it's really like the changes that are coming into place. Probably when this episode comes out mid-March, like a couple of weeks away from some of the amendments that she'd made in the winter budget come into effect from the start of April. And it's like, So I think we touched on conditions in episode 1. We could spend an episode talking about HMRC and the government, and we will definitely whinge about it a little bit today, I'm sure, in some episodes. But I think as business owners, we just need to go, do you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah.
And you just go, you deal with, you've got to play the game with the hand that you dealt, and the conditions are the conditions. So while it is an impact, and like the impact on, it's the impact on employees as well, because employees are going to lose out as a third party that we work with on some bits and pieces, and like that business, I've got to be very non-specific with this.
Yeah.
But this chap that works for them, he's basically on minimum wage because minimum wage has gone up and up and up and up. His job is it's partially skilled. But the business that he works for can't pay him more because they've just not got the margin for it. And what do they put the prices up? It's just creates inflation basically.
Yeah, it fuels it.
So I think the economy and the challenges put on businesses by the government, it's interesting. And the next thing he said was, what would you like to see from the government to support businesses in the UK? Well, for me, I think the first thing, and I will only say this, I think what the government should be doing is they should be speaking to entrepreneurs.
Yes.
They shouldn't be speaking to big businesses. Like, I think Starmer and whether it's red, blue, green, whatever the party is, they should be talking to the stakeholders, and it shouldn't be big business. It should be small and medium-sized business.
Yes.
It should be going around knocking on doors and speaking to like the Federation of Small Businesses and having conversations with them about how they can strengthen the economy and create opportunity for businesses and create the right environment for us to all thrive.
Yeah, and to grow.
And then that will lead to growth.
Exactly. And then we'll pay more tax.
We'll pay more tax, exactly. Whereas you get into this downwards spiral, I think we're at the top of a downward spiral.
Yeah, we're about to start,
Once you start to gain momentum on that downward spiral, with these tax increases and everything, it's very difficult to put the brakes on it and put it in reverse and get back up. It's hard.
No, impossible.
So, I mean, it's British business with Matt Holland. I'm very passionate about the UK, but it's very difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, challenging times ahead for everybody, and let's just see what happens over.
So I think you just got to be your own economy. Basically.
Yeah, ultimately, yeah. And as you said a minute ago, play the game with the rules that are set for now.
There's a few more questions that James has asked, but what we'll do is we'll touch on those we'll save them for episode 6.
Yeah.
So James, you'll have to wait if you want us to answer the next.
They're very good questions, I must say though.
No, I really appreciate that, James, because really thoughtful. Like, he's trying to grow his business.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What's the company called again? Sorry.
Black Lab Digital.
Right. Okay. And what do they specialise in?
SEO, pay per click.
Okay. Yeah.
So things relevant to online retailers, which is why we know them. But they're good guys.
So yeah, we'll come back to some of James's questions again, but into the episode, people.
Yes.
Like, I when I got the notes back from ChatGPT, because it wrote the draft and then I tweet them and what have you, I was like, these questions are quite punchy, some of them.
Oh God,
we're gonna have to navigate around them. But then actually I thought, well, maybe a good way of starting off is like why we're in business in a way. And like, we're in business because we've got bills to pay ourselves.
Yeah, 100%.
But what motivates me in business, like for me, I find it really, I get a lot of enjoyment from seeing people grow. Like,
develop.
It's like, I obviously spend a lot of time challenging myself and focusing on my own personal development. Like, even so, like, I'm trying to lose a bit of weight at the moment. Like, you constantly try to become a better person.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to network with other entrepreneurs, trying to get a bit more structure, like eat cleaner. But it's with your staff as well and people in your business. You want them to be doing similar things. You want them to be doing well. You want to see people join your business and maybe a low or mid-level role, and then you train and develop them up. I mean, that's one of the things in business that I find the most rewarding.
Yes.
Like, I think getting good people in your business, though, that you can train and develop and you can invest time in, that's challenging.
That can be very difficult.
Yeah. I mean, in your business, like, when you're approaching hiring for a new role, do you look for culture first, or like personality traits, or do you look for skills?
I think it's a balance of a few things there, but mainly for me, it's very much, I mean, some people can interview unbelievably well, can't they? You know, you sit down, you're like, oh my God, this person is on fire. Like, we must have them in our business. I think we may have had a couple of people like this, and ultimately turn out not to be right for the reason they don't fit the culture of the business, or they're not teachable, and they're not willing to adapt to the new working environment, for example. The most successful hires that I can think of, it's people that have literally started in our business in the warehouse, picking and packing customer orders, and then gone through the warehouse, gone through the ranks there, come into the office environment, or they want to try something different because they're curious and they're teachable. They've got into the office and they've got their teeth stuck right into that, and gone on and flourished in that environment and learnt new skills as well, all on the way. Yeah,
I think finding people that are teachable and curious is very important. Like, I think sometimes and it's interesting when you hire for more senior job roles, you end up with people that have got more accolades, more experience and knowledge on the CV, but actually those people, it's very important that they fit with the culture of the business. And I'm like a big believer in humility.
Yes.
So I think, like, I look at myself and I go, right, well, you've done well with this and that, but you need to stay teachable and curious, and you need to have the humility that you're not an expert. Like this podcasting, like, it's fantastic for me because, like, our learning and knowledge about YouTube and all this stuff is going to go on this exponential journey. And that's really exciting. And you want people that want to do that. Yeah. You want people that want to learn and develop themselves. So for me, I think skills always come second to the personality and the cultural fit into a business. That is paramount for me. Because if you get a rotten egg in your business, someone that's just not quite right, and I think, like, I mean, from a HR perspective, you've got to be very careful. But like the public sector, they like bigger organisations, they have to, when they're going through recruitment process, and technically all businesses should do this, they have to like score candidates and all the rest of it. But we obviously do that as well.
Yeah, of course.
We have a very thorough process when we're hiring. But ultimately, when you're making decisions about people, I'm a strong believer in you go with your gut as well. So if you're looking at some equal candidates and there's just something not quite right, and you're wondering whether culturally this person's going to integrate well into the team, that's paramount for me. Yeah. I mean, is there anything you would add on that into, like, in the sense of, like, because obviously we're very seasonal business. Well, you're less seasonal than I am, but what does your hiring process look like? Do you use Indeed, or like do you use recruiters? I mean, that's a big topic.
Well,
isn't
it? We use Indeed for mainly all the hiring that we do. I'm very fortunate. My brother James, who's my business partner, he's done, I'd say, 90% of the hard work in terms of the recruiting.
Yeah, your brother's like the people person, isn't he?
Very much so. He's great at that. And he would take that. He'd take charge of it. He's like, look, Tom, I'll go through. I'll sort the job spec out for the role that we need. I'll go through all the CVs.
Yeah.
Generally, he'll do like phone interviews first, just to get a vibe for the person to see.
I think he's a very good reader of character.
Yeah.
And the thing I really admire and respect about James is how calm he is.
Yeah. He is.
And
more so than me.
We're hotheads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, we're not hotheads, but like
we think differently. I think.
I can see that. I can see that in James. He's got a really good skill there.
Yeah,
like an eye for people, and he's a listener.
Yeah, he would. He'd sit and listen more than talk.
Yeah, I think from a leadership perspective and from a recruitment perspective, that's really important. 100%. So just a quick toilet break there.
Yeah.
Little interlude. It's like at the theatre when they bring, the things go across.
Oh, yeah.
And the ice cream man comes out.
Oh, yeah. The best bit.
Bit of popcorn.
Yeah.
Bit of can of pop. Oh, yeah. So a little interlude for a toilet break for us. Yeah, so people, we've just kind of kicked off on that because we've been chatting a lot this morning about other bits and pieces, but which has been good. I've enjoyed that. So challenges of finding the right people. Do you ever use recruitment agencies much? Is that a big thing for you?
To be honest, we've never used a recruitment agency so far. I'm not saying we never will.
Yeah.
But so far to date, we haven't for any roles.
I've not either. I know a few people that work in recruitment. I know a few people that have. Well, my best mate Jackie, he worked in recruitment for quite a long time, and I think there's a place for it for certain job type roles. But I think in smaller businesses and non-technical roles, so like if you. I think it doesn't really have a place if you're hiring warehouse operatives.
Yeah.
Or like more junior positions. If you're looking for someone like a seriously key person, and there's not many people that fit that job spec, then I think a recruitment agency makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I think because of how our businesses are set up, like you're just under 20 employees, I'm just over 20 employees.
Yeah.
Like we're at that size where really every bit of recruitment's done by the owners of the business.
Yeah, it's all done in-house.
So recruitment agencies haven't really worked. I think as we grow and scale, or like as we diversify into other things, like I mentioned commercial property in episode 1, that's something we're moving into. Like we're looking to buy other businesses. Like maybe as we become more investor owners into businesses, that's when you might need recruiters because you won't know the technical spec that you're looking for specific job roles. But yeah, I thought it's just thought I'd be interested. Yeah.
How have you done most of your recruiting then?
We similar to you, so Indeed. We have a bit of a process that we follow, which works. Me, Sarah, and Rob do all the interviews. We normally try and have two of the directors on it for a bit of sense check.
Yeah.
We do initial interviews where it's just one director to save time. But a lot of it is kind of like what we touched on, which is about culture and finding the right people to fit in with the existing team.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get a rotten egg.
Oh God, no.
It messes things up big time. So about retention with your team, like keeping good people. So ChatGPT said, keeping good people, what actually works?
Okay.
And then it said, once you've got them, how do you keep them?
Yeah.
So like, what do you do to reward, recognise, retain talent?
Yeah, it's a good point.
And sorry, go on.
No, it's fine. No, we are a small business, so obviously I imagine progression with our business looks very different than progression within a large organisation where they know after X amount of years I move into manager, after that I go into senior manager and all this, this sort of stuff. So really for us, recognise the good people and sit down, speak with them. Regular reviews is something that is key to find out what do they actually want from the business, because the growth of our business in particular is dependent on the people as well. We need the right people in the right place, helping push that business forward. So what does it look like for them? Is there anything they want to move into in a different role or learn a different skill? and develop them personally as well. And I think taking them along to industry events is good. It gets them deeper connected within the e-commerce industry, and networking as well, meeting other people from other businesses in maybe in the same industry, or some business owners. You know, I know when you've come round to our business, Avenue 85, a lot of the people enjoy it. A lot of the staff enjoy it because they're like, "Oh, it's Matt from Holland's Country Clothing," you know, and you know they want to learn. And
I think
know
it's
more.
it's very respectful. Like, something I admire about you and James is your business always feels like a family.
Yeah.
Like, there's no one that isn't included in, like, so like when I've been there, you always take the time to go, "Oh, Matt, this is Lyle, you know, our guy," kind of thing. And I'd be like, "Oh, how you doing, Lyle?"
Our warehouse manager.
Yeah, like your warehouse manager, and like, but then like you've shown me around, and I've met all the people in your business. Like, you've got a lovely group of people. They're all local.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think, like, sometimes business owners, they obsess about remuneration.
Yes.
And like, especially with all the conditions that we're facing at the moment, like, money is challenging for all businesses. Cash is hard. So sometimes, like, while remuneration is really important to start what you pay them, and you need to look after them and make sure you're kind of ahead of the curve if you can, if you're profitable and all the rest of it, and things are going well. But I think that recognition, and I think for me, time is probably the most valuable resource you can give to your team.
Yeah.
Like, make yourself available for conversations. Because people feel a lot more valued if you will take some time out your day just to go and check in with them and have that idle chit chat. And I think as entrepreneurial people, we're like, right, go.
Yeah, we're busy.
We've got to do this, we've got to do that. And it's like, right, these are humans.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with, like, if you're working 8 or 10 hours in a day or whatever it might be, and you go, right, well, an hour and a half of my day is, I'm going to lose that throughout the day for just communication with my team and just checking in with them, asking them how they're doing, asking them, "Oh, how did your 10K go at the weekend?" And like, just, I think it sounds really alien and strange that we have to mention that. But I think business owners and entrepreneurial people, we can be cold sometimes.
Yeah.
And we forget that these people have got lives, and like, I think doing that, and then also caring about your staff.
Yeah. Having
Like,
a genuine interest in
it has to be real.
them.
Like, and you can't fake it. Like,
No.
If I turn to so and so and be like, "How's your day?" Just carry on typing.
Typing an email. Get AI to write the email for you. That's one step.
Maybe I'll be able to spend 8 hours a day just talking to people and checking in. But I think people feeling recognised, like, and like, perks and benefits, are they worth it? That was another thing that like a prompt that came out. And I think, like, you can incentivize people with bonus schemes, and like, some people are very money driven. I think it depends on the industry you're working in. So if you're in recruitment, if you and they're heavily remunerated on,
it's going to come to money,
getting deals over the line and all the rest of it, sales orientated jobs, I get that. I think for, like, roles in our businesses, or like, say if you run a pub and you've got someone behind the bar, I think that personal recognition is really important. Then perks and benefits, it's like, well, you go on a couple of staff dues here, and it doesn't have to be expensive. Like, there's a brand I follow, Lanks.
Okay, shoe.
Well, actually, they've been to your warehouse, haven't they?
Did. Really nice people. Came around to looking at implementing some software that we use, warehouse management system. And
they came up to ours the same day. Good brand, really great business. But I follow, I think it's Marco, but he's on his emails he signs off as Marv. That's his nickname.
Okay,
I've not met him yet, but I think Sarah's going up to meet him about content marketing. Really nice guy from a distance, and like, his content's great. But they organise these walks.
Oh, right.
I think it's like on a Friday.
In
the afternoon, they all just go off for a walk. They're up in Lancashire, hence Lanks, as a brand, footwear brand. But low cost.
Yeah.
Just taking time out of the business and going for a walk, and they'll probably spend most of the time talking and creating
about
ideas about business anyway.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was a really intelligent, low-cost way of organising something. Now, you've got to be obviously conscious that some people might not be either capable or able to go for a walk, but you do things as well as that. But there's low-cost ways of, I think, providing perks and benefits to your staff, like enabling and providing time and being, I think flexibility is huge.
Very good point.
Being flexible and reasonable with your staff and your team.
Yeah. And I think We're currently looking at it with our business. I think you already do this with people who are able to work remotely. Obviously, with the challenges we're facing now, with increased costs for employing people, we're thinking obviously we're 100% obviously got to comply with that and remunerate individuals appropriately. But the other part is we know some people have the challenges of childcare and the costs involved in that, which are unbelievable. The costs of even maybe looking after pets, dogs, putting them in doggy daycare, things like that. So we're now thinking actually another way of benefit we can provide people that work for us, if it's possible, is the flexibility to work 1, 2, 3 days from home, where they don't therefore need to be paying for childminders before school, after school, doggy daycare, going around looking after maybe other family members. It gives them the flexibility. We respect they can manage their time. They're not children.
I think the concept of core hours really helps with that.
Yeah.
So if you can have it so that you have that flexibility where you can offer your staff, right, you can work, as long as you're working between the hours of 10 and 2, you can do later or earlier. But it depends on the job role as well.
Yes.
Because if you're like working in marketing, you're not working against like clear deadlines. You can do your creative work later in the day or earlier in the day. If you're working in e-commerce in our like tech teams and what have you, or you're working like we've got offshore staff as well. But I think offering that flexibility in job roles where you can, it's good. But you've obviously got to be fair to everyone.
Of course.
So you can't like offer it just to people that you like.
No, it needs to be open to all involved.
Yeah, you've got to treat people equally. So, like retention, I think we could spend an episode on that, but just to move along a little bit and try and skim the surface of some of these things. Managing underperformance, the awkward conversations, that's a really big challenge, I think, with staff members.
Yeah, 100%. And it's, as business owners, having to deal with that, it is not nice, is it? And I'm very fortunate, again, that I've got James, who is very good at taking this off my plate and dealing with those awkward conversations with maybe people that are underperforming. But ultimately, you need to get to the root cause of why are they underperforming. Is it, on our part, is it a lack of training? Have we not trained them sufficiently to do the role that required?
Are they in the right role?
Are they in the right role? Yeah. Very good point. Are
you putting too much pressure under them? Like, are you putting them under too much pressure? Do they need support? But ultimately, I think sometimes, like, and it comes back to culture.
Yeah,
you need to try and get it right in the recruitment phase. Like, we do probationary periods on all of our new starters.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how the HR legislation is changing in April. It would be good to have a people meeting. A people. We should do another people episode with someone from HR on it.
I've got a very good person.
Right, we'll bring them on. Yeah, we'd get them. We can just have a bit of a chat about like the hate. We'll have to be careful. But I mean, our audience here is business owners, and we're not talking specifically about anyone. But
no,
I think like it's really managing underperformance and those awkward conversations. I think it's about follow up.
Yeah.
Follow up is huge. So you can say to someone, I want you to do this. If you ask them once, that's great.
Yeah.
But we're people and we're humans and we forget. So like it's your job as a manager, as a leader, to follow up and go, how are you getting on with that? How are you doing with that?
You need any help support with this? Yeah.
Like, where are we up to with that? And then I always put like kind of systems in to force people to have to adhere to things. So I'd be like, right, do me a favour each day. Can you send me that email? Touching on that topic. I want an update every day. Makes it easier for you to then manage and follow up because you get the prompts into your mailbox and stuff like that. And that's like, it's not even about managing underperformance. That it's just about like good business management in a way. But I think if you look after your people, underperformance becomes something that's rare, I would say.
Yeah.
But I really like this, and I've heard it from James Sinclair's podcast. But like, if you can't change the people, change the people.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah,
if you can't change the people,
or you can't change people, so change the people. Like it's that concept of like if they're not a cultural fit, then you're just going to have to respectfully say, unfortunately, terminate your probationary period. Best to look, I'll be a reference for you, but we need to tweak things, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's life.
No, you've ultimately got to put the business first as well, haven't you? And if someone's not right for that role, what is the point in letting it run 6, 8, 12 months? Because you're just going to get more and more frustrated with that individual because they're not delivering the performance that you want to deliver.
All the money in the world cannot buy you time.
No.
Time is that resource that is incredibly precious.
Yeah, finite.
You can't buy more of it.
No.
So wasting time on someone that isn't right for your business, you need to, and that's a skill that you develop as a business leader.
Yeah.
Going, this isn't working. And then you learn, and it's something that you learn by failing at, really.
Yeah.
You get it wrong with people, and you try and persevere. Because I like to give people a chance, and I find it very difficult to let people go. But you've got to give them the opportunity a few times, but then it's like, no, right, this isn't working. You go with your gut and you go, right. And that's why you have mechanisms in place like probationary periods to protect the business and the employee. It's just got to be done consistently and fairly. And you've got to be reasonable, I think. So another point, which we touched on this because I hate this. I absolutely hate this.
Yeah.
So the concept of quiet quitting and work ethic problems.
Yeah.
In the UK, like, I mean, we're time-wise, we're running on a little bit now, so we'll move a bit quickly through this. But for me, like, that comes back to culture again.
Yeah.
Like, if you've got people in your business that are a bit lethargic and aren't enthusiastic about what you're all working towards, get rid.
Yeah, 100%.
Move on. Because your job as an entrepreneur business owner is to protect the business, but the people in the business.
Yeah.
And if you've got someone in a job role where there's 4 or 5 people doing a similar job and they're not pulling your weight, it will drag the average down massively.
Yeah.
Like this whole quiet quitting thing, I think it's like, I would obviously personally never do it. I understand why, and actually maybe if you've got quiet quitting going on in your business, maybe you need to look at yourself as the business owner and be like, well, am I recognising people?
Yeah.
Am I being fair and reasonable?
Have we done the first steps that we talked about before?
I think your team is a reflection of you. And ultimately the ownership comes back to you.
Yeah.
Like if your team and people aren't, if you've not got a great team, well, it's because you're not a great leader.
Yes.
Like you assembled the team, you have the full flexibility. So if you've got people that are quiet quitting.
That's true. You can't choose your family, but you can choose the individuals within your business. And I say this to James all the time. Like obviously me and him are brothers, we get on great. But within work, that's like a little family to us. Like say sub 20 people, everyone knows everyone, very good relationships with everyone. But we have the option to assemble the best team possible. We are, in essence, they're like a football manager of the football team, and we need the right players in the right positions to deliver the right results for us.
It's so important. Like you just can't having the right people and having people that aren't of that quiet quitting mindset. But I completely think it links back to who you are as a business leader, because if that is happening in your business, it is your fault. It's not that employee's fault.
No.
It's because they've been under-recognised, not given the opportunities. If they aren't the right fit, you should have got rid of them sooner. Before they were able to quiet quit. I hate that concept, but it's interesting how it's becoming more and more of a thing. People that are doing the bare minimum. How do you handle it and manage it? Well, you need to nip it in the bud early, basically. You need to be proactive on dealing with the issues, and it comes back to doing uncomfortable things.
Dealing with it head on, having those awkward conversations.
Which maybe that's a better podcast title than British Business with Matt Holland. Maybe we should rename it Doing Uncomfortable Things.
Doing very uncomfortable things.
Yeah, very uncomfortable things. Leadership, being a good boss. Without being a pushover. Like, do you think you're a good boss?
Well, I think there's always room for improvement. But I think with a lot of these points, it is time served. I think when I first started, you want to be liked by everybody. You want to be, Tom's great. He's a great boss. He lets me do this, that, and the other. But reflecting back now, with like 10, 12 years experience, I look back and think, oh my God, like why I was wasting time, like that finite resource we were talking about a minute ago, just letting things slide, letting standards slip. Because ultimately, the business doesn't perform the way it should be doing because it wasn't being managed effectively by myself when I was on my own, and
I think that's one of the best traits you can have as a leader and an owner. If I wanted any business owners to take this away from the podcast, it would be owning your failures and owning your flaws in leadership.
100%.
And then looking back and going, how can I become a better leader?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you've got to lead by example on everything. Because otherwise people won't respect you.
No, they definitely will not. You've got to take responsibility for it. Like, ultimately, it's your business. You take 100% responsibility for it. And back it up with a great team.
Yeah. I'm very passionate about trying to become a better leader. Like, that's my singular thing. Is like, the part of this podcast is to learn about myself. It's like you want to go on that journey of self-improvement, self-development, so that I can be a better leader, so that I can help other people, so that I can then turn to my team and go, oh, you should have maybe tweaked that, you should have done this. And like, the reason why I'm saying that is because I've had this experience, and I'm just giving people context, like putting yourself in your employee's shoes, like before you open your mouth, think. Like, sometimes in stressed and our jobs are high stress and high pressure. Like, this is a great day out for us. And I think the return on investment for my business will be huge, because it's just giving me time to think, like clarity. But when you're stressed and you're in that pressured situation and like you're having to make decisions, just think about how you're talking to your team. Like, over the years I've learned, and I've become a better leader and a better mentor and a better team player as well. Like, pull your weight. Don't sit in your ivory tower.
No.
Because otherwise everyone they won't want to work for you.
Yeah, they won't respect you for it, will they?
So I think like leadership is a topic in its own. So we'll do that at some point as well. Because I think how are you a good leader, and all these questions that would come off the back of that, we could cover that off. Wow, that I think I've really enjoyed that episode.
Yeah, it's refreshing. It's been refreshing.
I mean, there's other bits we could touch on, like ChatGPT has really gone to town with me on the on the
Give
points.
you 6 pages.
But actually, do you know what? I thought that was great. I think the episode was better as a result.
Yeah, I do. I think it flowed really well.
Like leveraging AI.
Yeah.
I think it went really well. So, and thank you again to James, who asked a few questions at the start, and we'll cover off a few more of his points at the start of the next episode. But if you're on YouTube, if you can comment your questions, thoughts about the episode, that'd be really helpful. Make sure you like it. Please subscribe, because it really helps us, because we want to do this more not more often, but we want to be consistent with it, and it just helps spur us on.
Positive feedback.
Give us some positive feedback. Please do that. And then if you're on Spotify, because that's the other main channel, you can comment now on Spotify.
Oh, interesting.
Which is quite a good thing. So try and leave a comment on Spotify. That'll help the algorithm. We're about to put the video episodes on Spotify as well. So this episode 5, that'll be on Spotify as video as well. So you'll be able to watch video and audio on Spotify and YouTube. And then it is on the other podcast platforms, but they're the main ones. But on Spotify, leave us a rating as well, so you can review the podcast out of 5. That's really important to the algorithm there.
Good.
So that's what we need from you guys listening. If you like what we're doing, please support us. It means a lot to us. And if you've got any questions, drop us a question, and we'll move on to the next episode, and we'll see you very soon. Cheerio.
Thank you.